Gotta move like a Seahawk, considering they have won the Super Bowl. And you know who's not winning the Super Bowl? Newcastle or Spurs. When I say that, I mean the Champions League or Premier League or any trophy by the end of the season. Um, but yeah, welcome everyone to Year of the Bird. Technically, it is the Year of the Bird because of the Seahawks winning. So maybe we kind of predicted it somewhat. So anyone that supports them, congratulations for your only second ever trophy or Lombardi trophy since 2013, I think. I might be wrong. I'm not sure actually, or 15. But yeah, before we get started, please do hit the like button on the stream and subscribe to both channels. And there is going to be a show later, La Piña Rosa. Obviously,
yes.
There will be sadness here, but later tonight we'll have a very happy ending to the day, you could say.
Yes.
So this will be in about, like 8.5 hours from now, more or less. But yeah, obviously talking about Newcastle and Spurs, obviously it was a very amazing Saturday for both of us. But Charlie, how was your Sunday?
Sunday was better than Saturday. I think that although Saturday the good thing was Palermo winning, which obviously we'll talk about on La Pina Rossa later, but do you know what I was thinking? I'm like, it's definitely not the year of the bird this year because of our clubs just being in the absolute gutter. You know what I mean? Like, just as a spoiler, we're dead ass just getting relegated. Like, it's just, I don't know about that, Sebastian, but
I'll find out tomorrow.
But we're genuinely in trouble. I don't think it's a joke anymore. Like, it's not a joke. It's a simply horrendous situation. Like, yeah, I've never seen my club at this point. Like, this is probably the lowest point I've seen my club. And I've seen some shit, but this is like, this is like a new level. And obviously for Newcastle, I think it's probably fair to say since the Mike Ashley days, this is probably your lowest point as well with how you're sort of doing this season. So it's probably obviously we'll talk about it, but it's probably a fair thing to maybe say that since the takeover, this is probably the lowest point Newcastle have been at. So yeah, it's not great whatsoever, but we'll try and get into it and dissect it as much as possible today. And yeah, like I said, please subscribe. This is being broadcasted on both channels. So, but yeah, in terms of football for both these clubs, it's just simply not looking good right now.
I mean, Charlie could decide if he wants.
No, golf's too boring.
So he would rather watch Thomas Frank, which I guess.
Actually, I'd rather watch golf.
Which I guess perhaps we can get started with the derby of potentially having Frank, not the Frank we know, but Frank of United Strand. Man United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
I got my prediction right. But
yeah, I said 2-1, but it's basically the same thing. But yeah, Man United 2, Tottenham 0. Well, actually, for the 2000th time, Tottenham Hotspur with 10 men and Man United with 11 men.
What can I say? There's a lot of conflicting opinions about this game. If I'll start off by saying this: that in isolation, taking away how shit the season's been and how terrible we've been, if we were, not in an absolutely disgusting situation, I'd say, look, this game, it's not good, but it's one of those that I can kind of take on the chin because we were down to 10 men for the majority of the game. And when you're down to 10 men, look, I think Frank got the tactics wrong when we were down to 10 men, but even then, I don't really blame him a lot, just simply because when you're down to 10 men, there's not a lot you can do. There's things that we should have done better, don't get me wrong. We shouldn't have just tried to defend for our lives, even with 10 men. But, there were different things that we could have done. But at the same time, there's a limit on on things you can do when you're down to 10 men from that early on in the game. And just before I get into the rest of the game, I need to talk about this red card because let me just share. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to share something else, as you can see here. Take a look at this, guys. Let's just play a quick game quickly. Guess the card, please, guys. Guess. Somebody guess the card. Which one of these was a red card? Because I think that the answer to this question is completely bonkers and ridiculous. To be honest, just look at this. Right, was a few weeks ago. Dalot on Doku, way higher than Romero is on Casemiro, and then you had Doku. Doku's also involved in this. Doku on McAllister a couple seasons ago. Like, guess the card, guys. Seriously, guess the card. And this is what pisses me off because I need to talk about Romero because it's very clear that this guy is reffed differently to most players. He's seemingly built up this reputation of being apparently dirty, rash, all of these sorts of things, where that narrative was completely debunked last season because last season he didn't get a single red card and he actually only got 3 yellow cards in the whole of last season. This season, yes, I will admit he has kind of been a little bit, more hot-headed this season. I think that that's down to a couple of things. Obviously, it's down to him, but I think it's also down to the state of the club. Even though last season we weren't in the best state, but I think it's down to probably frustration and everything. To be honest, but at the same time, like the way I see it, that red card, Michael Oliver. How many times am I going to call out his name because he is the worst referee I've ever seen. He constantly screws us over. He is constantly giving us stupid decisions constantly. And look, for me, the way I see it is this. People will sit there and say, by the letter of the law, Romero deserved to be sent off. But at the same time, if you're going to send Romero off, to not send off Dalot, to not send off Caicedo against us last season as well for the exact same thing that Dalot did, to not send those guys off, and yet to send Romero off for a challenge that, look, it can be argued as a red card, but at the same time is way less of a red card than many different red card tackles that I've seen. And that's the thing that pisses me off. That the referees in the Premier League are horrendous. They don't know what they're doing. I say this week in, week out that they are probably the worst refs in Europe. There's a reason why no English ref went to the World Cup. There's a very clear reason for that. Complete disgrace. It ruined the game, albeit for the first, like the way I see it is this: for the first half an hour, and I'll get the teams up. For the first half an hour, I didn't think we were like terrible. I thought it was quite an even game. Obviously, we're suffering with more injuries. As you can see, this is the lineup. As you can see, very sort of makeshift for us with Gray obviously at right back. Midfield, I thought it was more of a back three, but it turns out it was more of this 4-3-3 type thing. I thought for the first half an hour it was quite even, but United probably slightly better. They had a couple more better chances, but we were in the game. I think it's fair to say that we were in that game, albeit I didn't think we were great by any means. Like we weren't amazing, but we were at least somewhat competing. Then we go down to 10 men and that's it. It's game over. And everybody knew it was game over. But at the same time, it shouldn't be game over because we saw, for example, earlier on, when I'm using United specifically as an example, we saw Everton go down to 10 men early on and they pulled out a 1-0 win at Old Trafford. I know United are playing a lot better now with Carrick and they've had this new manager bounce. But at the same time, that's just proof that with 10 men, you can come up with things. And what I think happened when we went down to 10 men was Frank, with that substitution, completely messed it up because he took off Odegaard. And I'm not saying Odegaard's great or anything, but what he does give us is at least he has some pace. At least he can run in behind. And when you're down to 10 men, you need an outlet. You need somebody that can run in behind. And Odegaard, if you look at this team, he's the only one really that can do that sort of job. And Frank took him off to bring on Dragusin, another defender. And what Frank tried to do, essentially, was with 10 men, he tried to just sit and defend for his lives and hope that, maybe we'll get something on the break or, we'll try and soak up all the pressure and then last 10 minutes we'll go for the win and bring on the subs. What happened was the plan completely went out the window because we conceded that goal, obviously, to Mbeumo. And then later on, pretty much for the rest, since they scored, basically, I knew it was game over. We were down to 10 men. We haven't recovered a single losing position to a win this season, not a single one. And listen, Man United are, look, for all the problems they've been having, they are on good form right now. And I did say coming into the game that this was probably the worst time to play them, if I'm being really honest. Second half was literally, I'll be honest, the way we were set up, and this isn't just down to Frank, I think this was also down to the players as well. We were literally just waiting to get beat. You know, Vicario, for all the criticism he's been getting lately, he actually prevented it from being 4-5-0. In that they had the ball in the back of the net twice. It was 2 offside goals. And actually, I'll be honest, the goal that Fernandes, Bruno's goal, I actually think that was probably offside as well. But obviously, they gave it they gave the goal. The second goal was coming. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. But at the same time, what was really telling was just before they scored the second goal, Frank was finally going to make attacking subs. He was going to bring on, I'll just get it up here. He brought on Tell, he brought on Kolo Muani, Bissouma as well. So he was bringing on 2 attackers to go and try and go for it in the last 10 minutes because we've quote unquote stayed in the game. But then it's funny because literally, I can't remember if it was just before or just after, but literally within 30 seconds either way of the subs, they score. And then that completely destroys the whole game plan. So that, for me, the way we were set up initially was wrong, even with 10 men. And I'm not going to blame. I blame Frank for a lot of games this season, but I'm not going to blame him specifically a lot for this because we are down to 10 men. But at the same time, he did mess around with the way we were set up with 10 men. Like the way I see it is this: I'm not asking us to kind of go gung ho like Ange did with 9 men against Chelsea 2 seasons ago, all on the halfway line. That's not what I'm saying we should do. What I'm saying we should do is actually have a plan of, look, pick our moments to go forward, kind of, be smart about it, not just kind of have everyone back and just wait to die. That's all I'm saying. Like, you have to have a sought after plan with 10 men when to pick your moments to go forward. There was no intention whatsoever for us to pick any moment to go forward. And like I said, in isolation, it's these kind of games that you can just kind of be like, yeah, well, the ref screwed us over and we were down to 10 men and we got beat on the day by the better team. And like I can take in isolation, like these kind of games, you just kind of got to take on the chin sometimes. But the issue is this, and I'll get it up here just so if you look at the stats, like I said, Vicario did definitely prevent it from being a bigger scoreline. But this game isn't necessarily the main issue. The issue is this. The issue is Tottenham Hotspur, who, for whatever people want to say, are a big football club. We might not be the most massive. We might not be, on the level of, Man United.
Arsenal.
Get out of Arsenal, get out of here, man. They've got nothing in Europe. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, whatever people want to say, Tottenham are a big football club. And for us to be, look at the table, 6 points above the relegation zone is unthinkable. It's unheard of. It's a situation that I've personally never seen my club be in, because people might go back to last season, 17. We were safe by this point last season. Last season in February, we actually won 3 games in a row, and that basically ensured that we didn't have any chance of being relegated whatsoever. That basically sealed it. And by this point, that was the case. By this point this season, that's anything but the case. And this is extremely real. This is a massive problem. We've won 2 games in 16. We have won 7 games in 25, as you can see, which is just a complete disgrace. I don't even know where to start with why this has happened. There's many different reasons for it. Listen, Angus, don't bottle it. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't bottle it, man.
And also, what do you call this? Who was the one that scored the Erling Haaland?
Erling Haaland, man. Whatever. I don't care what people say. I don't care if people want to say that, people want to call us, a small club, which is not the case, and all of this sort of stuff. But for everybody that's watched Tottenham, that's seen Tottenham, we've never been in this position. And do I think we're going to get relegated? No. Do I still think it's unlikely? Yes. But the reality is this: unless we pick up wins, we're gonna get dragged. We're gonna get dragged to the bottom unless we pick up results. We're going to get dragged down to 18th. And you look at the form. West Ham have 3 wins in 5. 3 wins in 5. And we're the only team below Leeds. I think have lost. I think it's 3 games in 10 or something like that. And then you got Nottingham Forest, who have won more games with us than in the last 5. So people that are doubting, people that are sort of like laughing it off, I think is wrong. And what's worse? Forget fans. Forget all of this sort of stuff. What's worse is that the club have seemingly laughed this off. The club decided to have that pathetic January. The club, according to reports, decided that we don't have any consideration whatsoever for the threat of relegation, despite the table being the way it is. That according to reports, this is allegedly, according to reports, they are not taking it seriously. They not one part of them is basically saying that we will get relegated. But them having that window is, for me, pure arrogance. It is pure arrogance. I don't know who they think they are. And look, I went on a massive rant about the board and the ownership last show, so I'm not going to try and repeat myself like from what I said last show, because I went on for quite a while. But this is inexcusable. And fans that want to sit there and pretend like this is normal, I'm sorry, you're out of your mind, because I don't care what people say. People might say, look, we have a bad squad, we have injuries, all of this, which is all true. Do we have the best squad? No. Do we have injuries? Yes. But we should still be higher than 15th. I'm sorry. There is no excuse for this. And 2 wins in 16, that gets me thinking, where are the wins coming from? Because if you think about it, right, we need to win, 3-4 games to ensure we won't get relegated. But where are those wins coming from? Because I don't see us, as a quick spoiler, I don't see us beating Newcastle tomorrow. I don't see us beating Arsenal. I don't see us beating Fulham away, because we've lost there the last couple of years. I don't see us beating Liverpool at Anfield. So where's the next win coming from? And people might say, oh, we're still going to play Wolves. Wolves are our bogey team. Wolves are a team, for whatever reason, we struggle against. Like, we couldn't even beat West Ham and Burnley. So what game do we think we will win anytime soon? Could maybe at the end of the season, when a few players come back, we'll pull it out. Probably. I think towards the end of the season, we probably will get a couple of results that make sure that we don't get relegated. But at the same time, the reality is this: we have to put points on the board. We can't afford to be in this situation. And the pure arrogance from the board and the owners have allowed this to happen, because it's their own fault. Because the fact that there is any risk, even a 1.000% chance of us getting relegated, that is a complete failure at the top from every single department in the club. And I was saying on Steve, I was in Steve's chat yesterday. I was saying that we are very similar to Fiorentina in Serie A. For those that follow Serie A will know, Fiorentina, a big club in Italy, are more risk than us right now. If you just look at the table, they are at serious. They're in the bottom 3 right now, and them being relegated is unthinkable. The way we're playing, zero hope, zero belief in a lot of these players. The manager, as I've said many times, is out of his depth. That's nothing new, albeit I don't fully blame him. And in fact, I don't even think the majority of what's going on is his fault. Like I've said, look at the board, look at the ownership, look at the culture that's been created at this club, look at everything that's been going on. This has been coming. And if the unthinkable does happen, oh, come on, man. Come on. See, this is when fans can't have a proper conversation. If the unthinkable did happen and we got relegated, the board and the owners, they deserve everything they're getting. And if I'm being totally honest, a lot of fans, and this might sound a bit harsh, a lot of fans deserve exactly where we are right now, because a lot of fans didn't want to take action. They kept trying to tell the world that when fans wanted to take action against the owners, they kept trying to tell the world, they're not going anywhere. There's absolutely nothing we can do. We're completely powerless. All of this sort of stuff. Just such a defeatist and pathetic mentality. And also, those fans that want Poch back in the summer deserve everything they're getting. Because that's how you know they don't know shit. They don't know anything about football. They think that Poch will come in and save the whole thing without realizing that Poch is completely washed. And that's literally true when you go and look at the jobs that he's done since he's left Spurs, basically. Fans thinking that Poch will come in and solve the whole situation are completely out of their mind. And they deserve what they're getting right now. And the worst part, the really sad thing is that I don't deserve what's going on. Fans that, call this out and have been saying this don't deserve what's going on either. And we're being dragged into the whole situation and are basically being dragged down with the club and with the fans that think this is okay. And just looking at the table right now, it is beyond anything I thought would happen. It is completely unthinkable where we are, and I don't care what people say. If people want to say we're not a big club and all of this blah blah blah, it is completely ridiculous to think to sit there and tell me that you expected Tottenham Hotspur to be where we are right now. It is completely ridiculous. I don't care if you think we're a big club or not. If you thought we were going to be there, it's completely ridiculous and a complete lie. If you thought we were going to be and should be in this situation, for the money we make, for the resources we have, for the stadium we've built, for all of these sorts of things, for a club that literally just won a trophy last season as well. Like, I just have no words to describe the state of the current situation. And the reality is this: they have to pick up points. And I think, look, maybe if we enter the relegation zone, maybe that is when they will sack Frank. I don't know. But at the same time, now we've sort of passed the stage of getting rid of him, because if you look at it now, who is going to come in? And secondly, just maybe the expectations are so low that maybe Frank will actually thrive in that, because before the expectations were too high for him. So maybe with low expectations of just making sure we don't get fucking relegated, will maybe be an environment where he will be able to get more results and enough results to ensure that didn't happen, because that was essentially what his job was at Brentford. So basically a terrible situation. I've kind of gone off about it. I just had to do that. But yeah, literally no words to describe. The club has been mismanaged. This is a consequence of failure at the top for years. And here we are. It's constant mismanagement, and we're suffering the consequences. And the fact that relegation is even a possibility is crazy, to say the least. But listen, I've gone on for a while. Ten, what's your thoughts on obviously the Man United game, but also, do you think we are at risk of getting relegated? Because it's, like I said, it's completely unthinkable to me.
Yeah, I mean, speaking on the Manchester United game, for Frank, not Thomas Frank.
Oh yeah, one game away.
One game away, and West Ham are 6 points below you, and obviously if they beat Man United, and let's say we beat you on Tuesday, then the gap actually becomes 3 points from the relegation zone for Spurs. So actually, you have to be a big Manchester United fan on Tuesday.
Yeah. I want him to cut his hair.
Yeah, so we'll find out tomorrow if he gets to. But yeah, for this game, I think before the red card, I think Man United and Spurs were pretty even, I would say. And I think probably in terms of the red card, do I think it's a red card? Yes. But how come the other ones were not red cards? Like, for example, obviously there was one yesterday whereby, yes, it's a red card, but the goal went in, the Szoboszlai one, But, oh well. Liverpool still lost. Hold that.
Liverpool. See, here's the thing, right? If that red card, if that was the other way around, it wouldn't be a red card. I'm telling you. It wouldn't be, because the proof is Dalot a couple of weeks ago. That's the proof.
Yeah, and I think we'll find out. But I think the red card, did it change the game? I wouldn't really say so, because I think eventually, Man United
do you think it was a red? Do you think it was a red, though?
Yeah. But how come the other ones weren't? That's the thing. Which
are worse, and they weren't given as reds. See, that's fair. That's fair.
But then I do think, did it change much of the game? Not really, because I felt like Man United, from what I saw, were eventually getting into the game, and I think the first goal was more likely going to be theirs. I mean, I think in the entire game, Spurs had one shot on target or something. Or even then, it was only like one
Yeah,
shot.
nothing new.
And I believe that shot on target was when you had 11 men or something.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it was that one chance. I think it was Gallagher, that one sort of half chance we had, but that was it, really.
Yeah, the English Kenneth Taylor, as I like to now call him because of school at Lazio. But I think the Embremo goal, I think it was Embremo, that scored the first goal. Really good set piece. I think it was the set piece, goal. Just poor defending in the...
It's again, we can't defend the edge of the box. How many times have I said that? It's the same problem we've had. Can't defend the edge of the box because Frank apparently is okay with conceding low XG chances. That's, you know what I mean? It's a load of shit, man.
Yeah, and good thing Zubimendi's not injured because of robbery. But I think once Embremo scored, I did think the game was practically over now that you were 10 men down. So I wouldn't say it was as an interesting watch because I think overall the second half when it came, you made sort of defensive subs, tried to get in, like not be 2-0 down. But then when it becomes 2-0, whether you made some before or after the goal, the second goal, the actual second goal that happened, because there were one or two offside goals. But I think overall...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's David. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think overall, for Man United... Oh, big up!
Oh, big up, Josh. Big up.
I love Arsenal. Thank you for that.
Big up to Josh every single time. Subscribe to True Gooner, guys, if you haven't already.
Yeah, he's a true Gooner. But yeah, I think overall, I just think the game was over once Embremo scored. And then when you made the subs, either before or after the second goal, it didn't matter because obviously they scored. And it was just about don't lose 3-4-0 or something like that. It looked like...
That was the plan from Frank, was just, like I said, just to soak it up and hope that we don't, which was wrong. I think you have to have a balance. You got to, he's literally just waiting to get beat.
Yeah, so I think overall, that's probably how it ended up for Spurs. But as for the Premier League table, I mean, the fact that you're in the bottom six,
I mean, I asked you the question. Do you think there is a chance we get relegated?
Well, I mean, your next couple games. I mean, it depends what happens tomorrow because there's a case that by the end of tomorrow night, you are 3 points above the relegation zone, which I hope. Okay, I want one half of it happen. I don't really care about West Ham, Man United, but obviously I want us to win tomorrow. But yeah.
I mean, Baran, we've acted toothless in like 90% of games this season, so
yeah,
it is what it is.
But I think the fact that you're in, I think this is a much difficult spot than last season in terms of where you end up.
Yeah, because we were safe by this point. We were safe last season.
Yeah, even though Leicester did beat you.
But still, even after that, I think, like I said, we won 3 games in a row. We haven't won back-to-back games apart from the first 2 games of the season this season.
Yeah. I think, as I said like a while back, I think the thing that's keeping Frank in the job is the Champions League, which is basically till at least the international break. That's what I think. Because
probably,
I think overall, I do think that, are you in a relegation battle? Yes. I think now, yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, but would I say the same about Newcastle, whereby we're only 4 points ahead of you? Not really.
I don't think it's got there yet, albeit obviously we'll talk about Newcastle, but the problem with Spurs is that we can't buy a win. At least you guys, you beat Leeds here, you won a couple of games not so long ago. Like, we can't win a game. Like, we literally can't beat anyone in the league. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I think... Do I think you get relegated? It would be hilarious, but...
Yeah, of course it would for you.
Like, imagine you win Europa and you get relegated, but I think you won't, but you're now cutting it a lot closer
We're cutting it to way too close than it ever should be. Like I said, for Tottenham, for the club, we should not be in a situation where it is even a 0.1% chance that we might get relegated at this point in the season. Like it can't happen. It just can't.
Yeah.
And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, I think maybe by the end of it, I don't think Spurs will get relegated. I'll be honest. I do think it'll be one of the teams below you, one of those three.
Do you know what it's very similar to? The way Spurs are right now, obviously, you do the La Liga show and everything. It's very similar to Sevilla. Yeah. It's very similar to Sevilla. Sevilla, who are obviously a big club. See, what's happened again? Us being in this position is not again. This is like unheard of. See, this is just stupid. But it's kind of like Sevilla, like the last couple of years and stuff. Like this is where we're kind of at right now. It's kind of like I said, Fiorentina. It's like we're the English version of these teams right now. Yeah, and
do I think Sevilla gets relegated? Probably not. That's what I think.
Although they're actually closer than we are right now.
The La Liga table is pretty close.
It's true, yeah. It's true.
It's like 11th after winning after 2 games. But I think for Spurs, it's about making sure that you're able to get the results. But the fact that we're
not getting any results.
You have difficult games after Tuesday. I'll say that. With obviously us, and then you have Arsenal in 10 or so days later, and then Fulham, and then Liverpool, and then you get the Champions League games coming up, whoever it is, which will be very difficult.
I'll be honest, right? If I was to make a prediction of when I think we next might win a game, it's probably, I think the game after Liverpool is Palace at home. I think maybe that will be the next one. But even then, I don't see it really, if I'm honest. Like that. If I'm saying what is the next game we might win, maybe Palace at home. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I think, and you don't become the second Deportivo La Coruña. We'll see about Sevilla.
But we are like Sevilla.
At least Deportivo, we are getting hopefully back up this season. But check out our show on later tonight, which I can show again.
Wouldn't it be mad? Because the thing is, following Palermo, I've seen us get relegated and stuff. But imagine like what happens is Palermo get promoted, Spurs get relegated.
Oh.
I've never seen this. I'm used to watching Palermo in like lower divisions. It would be like weird for me.
Well, at least you get to enjoy Burton Albion or whoever it is away. That's what Sunderland fans told me.
Oxford.
I mean, they might.
Oh man, why are we even having this conversation, man? I can't believe it.
I cannot believe I'm going to say enjoy Burton Albion away.
Facts. Did you not hear what I said, Angus? I literally said it by this point last season we were safe.
More or less. But I do think in terms of the table, I think
it's a disaster.
I think it's practically been a disaster for Spurs. And I do think that, your last win was
Frankfurt. Well, Champions League, we've been doing better for whatever reason.
Yeah. What do you mean? Millwall will be in the Premier League.
Oh, man.
But because I know they're in the playoff. But I think for Spurs, it's just about you have to get results. Hopefully not tomorrow, but we'll see. But
yeah,
I guess can move on to another depressing team, sort of.
Yeah.
Newcastle United 2, Brentford 3. That's probably more likely. But obviously talking about Brentford winning at Newcastle, which means that it is the first time that Brentford did the double over.
You've now lost 4. You've lost 3 Premier League games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, apart from maybe Liverpool, I would say, because that's what I expected to lose. I think this one, well, at least we're in conversations for Champions League somehow. But I think I like Spurs.
See, Angus, you don't know that. You're just making stuff up. You don't. Did you speak to Tonali? You don't know that.
Yeah, in terms of this game, I mean, this is probably it's somewhat similar to the Aston Villa game. Apart from us, we actually scored in this game, scored 2 goals. But I'll be honest, throughout the entire game, we were okay, but not good enough to get a result in the end. And this is also now back-to-back home losses in the Premier League. I think for the first time in, well, definitely this season, but I don't remember the last time it actually happened. So that kind of tells you everything. Probably when we had that whole injury thing 2 years ago, but I do think. What do you mean shit?
Talk shit.
But yeah, in terms of the lineup, I mean, it was probably expected. I would say the only one that was a bit like why was Murphy, because I think Gordon was injured for this game. But Murphy, it should have been Elanga, especially how well Elanga was against Man City. I know it was second half and we were 5-0 down, but he did bring us back to 5-1, you know. But I do think Elanga should have started the game because maybe, you know, build up the confidence, but we decided not to. Murphy started, and Murphy was terrible. I mean, he came off at halftime practically, so it kind of shows you. It was good to have the captain Bruno Guimaraes back. Obviously, he got an assist and a goal. Obviously, I saw somewhere about from the Chronicle, which I'll talk about later, about the penalty. Not him scoring or whatever, but something about it. But yeah, in terms of the team, the back four, I mean, Trippier,
that was the biggest stinker and hooked I've ever seen. I'm not even. That was a stinker. That Trippier. Look, I like Trippier, but that was a proper stinker and hooked. Like,
oh yeah.
And I think this game was just another case of I think Trippier's done. Like he's like way past it now. You know when Jamie Carragher said leave the football before the football leaves you. I think that's the case with Trippier. I think he's done. Sadly,
I think it's time for him to learn Tagalog, Vietnamese, or Hokkien language. But yeah, I think. But also I did see somewhere, I forgot who said or whatever, that there was a Newcastle fan that said Trippier is the worst signing since the takeover, which I disagree. I know he's been.
Now, Trippier was good at the start. He was good when he first came in.
And he was technically the first big player to join us. He joined us before Bruno, just so everyone knows. And I think I mean, surely this is his last couple months or so with us.
It's a shame because you obviously Liveramento's injured and he'd probably
and Miley's injured.
So Trippier is kind of your only right back option right now.
Which I would say, do I blame the transfer window? I mean, wait, there was a transfer window, but it kind of shows that, I remember one time Bayern Munich were linked with Trippier, maybe 1-2 seasons ago.
That was funny because that was when they had Tuchel and they were looking at just every English player. They were looking at they got Dyer and they were looking at Trippier as well. And they actually were looking at Chicken Royale as well. So
yeah, I think maybe I feel like we should have accepted and built. So you could kind of say it's kind of poor squad building from Eddie Howe, especially knowing at the start of the season we were going to have plenty of games, So there was a potential chance that Trippier may start 1, 2, or even more games. I mean, Trippier basically started the past 3 games, I believe. He started this game, started the Man City Cup game. I believe he started the Liverpool game. I also think, no, not the PSG game, but the fact that he.
Oh my God, this guy.
Oh my God,
man. This guy hates Newcastle. He hates Newcastle. This guy.
What do you mean? What Man City and Newcastle are like the best of friends. Actually,
I don't know. This guy hates Newcastle for some. I remember that he came in last show. He hates Newcastle.
I don't know why, but and subscribe to my channel. But so this, the fact that Trippier is probably also going to start against Spurs because I don't think Miley is back or Livermento. it kind of shows that, kind of poor squad building, especially knowing that we would have this many games this season, no matter how well or how bad our performances have been. So that's one criticism that about the board and Eddie Howe in general, which obviously I'll talk about a little bit later. But we did eventually score Botman in his 100th appearance. So finally, after almost 3.5, 4 years, he actually does score. Well, obviously he's scored a few times, but on his 100th appearance. And yeah, it was a good header on the ground. Like, he headed on the ground to the ground and went in the net. At that time, did I think we deserved the league? Not really. I think it was 50-50, and we just had a set piece that went in for us. So yeah, obviously good for him personally to get a goal in his 100th appearance. Maybe he can do it in his 101st as well, I hope, which is tomorrow. But after that, Brentford grew a lot more into the game. They did start off the game well, but obviously we had the set piece goal that we scored. But Brentford continued to build, and obviously Janelt scored the goal. A pretty decent finish, a header, which Trippier, I forgot who's the one that crossed it to Janelt, but Trippier couldn't close down the man. And then it was just a header that was won by Janelt that made it 1-1. And I would say it was coming. And then the second goal that eventually happened, it was a counterattack. Trippier or whoever it was couldn't keep up in terms of pace. And then eventually Jacob Murphy handball into the box, trying to do, not really, but kind of doing his best Steve Taylor impression. If you know, you know. I believe it was against Aston Villa back in the day. But yeah, handball in the box. I don't know why they took 10,000 years since the dinosaurs happened to actually check that if it was a penalty. Like how, like what? I don't know how long it takes for them to check a penalty. It was the most obvious penalty. Like, what are they checking? Like what, for offside or for not handball? It was a clear handball. You knew somewhat the intention of Murphy. Obviously, Murphy only gets a yellow card, maybe lucky, you could say. But it was the most obvious penalty. I'm like, why are they checking? I'm not saying why is it a penalty. I'm like, why are they checking? It's an obvious penalty. So yeah, referees are terrible. Just as bad as La Liga refs. But obviously, when obviously Thiago scored, made it 2-1 before halftime. And then, I was like, let's see what Eddie Howe actually does. Does he change up the game? He actually did. He brought on Valtamada and Elanga, I believe. Those were the two subs on for Murphy and Willock, I believe. And actually, for the first 10 or so minutes, 15, 20 minutes, we were a lot better than the first half. Maybe we could have scored, as you said, maybe Wissers should have scored that one chance. But we did look a lot better when Valtamada was playing as a support striker, you could say, for Wissa. But I think overall it was ultimately we were at 2-1 down. So we were always going to be chasing the game, and Brentford were always probably going to sit back and absorb pressure. But eventually, what do you call this? I believe I forgot who made the run for us to eventually get the penalty, but we got a penalty. I think it was Bruno that was tackled in the box. It was just as the Murphy handball. It was also a clear penalty. I also don't know why they're checking, because Bruno was getting to the ball, I believe, and I forgot which defender it was. The defender, practically pushed him or made contact to ensure that Bruno Guimaraes could not get the ball eventually. So I don't know why they took another 10,000 years to say that's a penalty. It was an obvious penalty. 2 obvious penalties, 1 for each team, and they had to take 10,000 years to make a decision. I'm like, why are you making long? Even I was off. Even I'm not a referee, and I know both were penalties. Like, I don't know why. Like referees should know a lot more than me. I'm not a referee. I'm not a data scientist. But like that's a clear penalty. Both of them, the Brentford penalty and the Newcastle penalty. Thankfully, VAR exists somehow. And obviously, Bruno Guimaraes did score the penalty, which I would say is pretty good. But I saw.
And by the way, don't hide away from it. Another penalty for Newcastle. Don't.
No, it was a clear penalty.
It was. I agree. But I'm saying that you guys are pen merchants. Another penalty for Newcastle.
Yeah, I saw from the Chronicle. I don't know if they're talking like Talk Shite or Talk Sport, whatever the company's called, but they said that Voltemade was upset that Bruno Guimaraes took the penalty off Voltemade. I'm like, does it really matter?
Bruno scored it, and it doesn't matter. And sadly for you guys, it didn't affect the result.
Yeah, but I'm like, does it really matter? If someone takes the penalty off of me, if I was a footballer, as long as they score, they score. I don't know why, have to get all upset. I don't think Voltemade was upset. I just think that the Chronicle, which is, I think, a Newcastle-based journal company or whatever, media company, or I don't know what you call it. I'm like, what sort of story are they trying to make? Oh, it's like piling on more and more of this like bad media towards Voltemade, when literally Voltemade didn't start this game. When he comes on as a support striker, when he came on as a support striker, we looked at least better in the game. So I'm like, what? Like, why are they putting more bad media towards Voltemade when he was okay, he was better, but this is, oh well. Obviously, we scored the penalty, but as you said, it didn't affect much of the result because Dango Ouattara of the mighty country,
he scored a winner against us a couple years ago in a free.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Obviously, scored the goal, which practically ended the game, I would say. What is this? Ultimately, you guys won the game. But yeah, I do think that once it was 3-2, the game was, I wouldn't say over because obviously we could have gotten an equalizer goal. But, the fact that how many games is it now? Yeah, we were in a winning position.
Yeah, so you guys must have the most points dropped from winning positions this season.
I think like 19 now.
I think do you know what's really bad? Do you know what's really bad about Newcastle right now is that before I've been saying like, look, your home form's kind of keeping you ticking, like towards the top end of the table and everything. But now your home form is coming unstuck. That's back-to-back home losses for the first time I can remember with Newcastle. I can't even remember the last time you lost back-to-back games at home. So it's crazy. I mean, listen, Newcastle, look, it's a game they probably should have taken at least a draw from, if I'm being honest. Like, you had chances to go and get something from this game. Brentford, look, they were good, to be fair. Brentford did play well in this game. Obviously, they took their chances and everything. But at the same time, I do think Newcastle could have got more from this game. And it was mistakes and just, defending, just kind of let you guys down. And For me, I when I look at Newcastle, I see a team that's kind of like not as bad as Spurs into that extent, but I see similarities in the sense you guys. I look at your players at the moment. I think you guys have just lost a lot of belief. If I'm being honest, like the way Newcastle would play under Eddie Howe before was very different in the sense that you guys, no matter who you played, would give them, you'd always kind of give them a physical game. You kind of rough them up. You'd try and kind of outstrength most teams. You kind of like would outmuscle. Like I remember all of the 2 years in a row where you beat Arsenal 1-0 at home. Like I remember just both those games, you just completely outmuscled them. And like when I look at Newcastle now, I'm not seeing them do that in any game. I feel you guys are a lot easier to sort of play against than before. And there's a clear, for me, there's a clear sort of drop off. And
actually, if you
this game was another one. I mean, when was the last time you lost at home to Brentford?
Actually, when was the last? Well, earlier this season, but
no, at home. At home.
Oh, never. I believe. Yeah. But actually, when was the last time there was actually boo in the stadium after full time?
Was there boo?
Probably since Mike Ashley, but
damn.
To be honest,
now you truly are turning into Spurs. I mean, we boo every game basically.
Yeah. So actually, we didn't. There were actually fans leaving before the end of the game. So I was so thankful for those fans because people saying, you should give support till the 19 minutes when the team couldn't even turn up for 2 back-to-back home Premier League games against teams that we have a good record against. So. And then the post-match comments. Eddie Howe says, actually, for the first time, he actually took actual, genuine responsibility.
Yeah, because again, his subs were awful in this game. Like look at his subs. All again like Alanga. His subs are so reactionary. Alanga and Voltemade on at half time.
Well, actually, we were better with both of them.
You were, but still, it's like he has no thought. It's just like swap all. He'll do like 3-4 subs at once. Usually, he'll like just swap out players. Like it's very reactionary. Usually, his subs. But like, do you remember when he started without a striker and then brought on 2 strikers against Liverpool? Like it's stuff like that that has cost you guys a lot this season.
But from Eddie Howe's post-match thing or whatever. He said he took responsibility and said that the players have to perform to how the level should be or whatever. So because he's finally said that, I should be expecting the next game against Spurs, which we'll talk about just after this. I expect not necessarily to win. I'm not saying that, but I expect probably the entire squad to actually perform to the level that they are expecting. I'm not saying win the game, but actually prove to us, do what you did against PSG. Show that sort of, that fight, that desire. As I said, I'm not asking for a win. Obviously, of course, I want us to win. But what I'm asking for is, like, turn up for these games, like even Eddie Howe said in the post-match stuff that some players are not up to the standard so far right now. And when he says that, that means that there are players that are doing like that.
I mean, look, 3 losses in a row. Bottom, you actually went up to 6th. Now you're in the bottom half. You're below Sunderland again.
It won't last. And I love Arsenal. But I think what is bad about this is not the losing 3 games or whatever in a row. It's that we're 25 games in and have lost 10 games. And I believe half of them are at home. I'll be honest. Liverpool, Arsenal, and the past 2, and maybe 1. Maybe I forgot. But now we can't even say, the home form will help us because I don't really.
You're losing your home form now. That's what I think has kept you in the sort of like somewhat respectable position. Like is your home form, but now that's going, and now that's how Newcastle are in trouble. When the home form goes, you're kind of like because your away form's been terrible all season.
Yeah.
It was your home form that was kind of keeping you from like basically the relegation zone, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Now your home form is gone. It's a serious problem with what's happening.
Yeah, and you know, Eddie Howe and the players, you have bought this among yourselves. What are you going to do? Are you actually going to turn up tomorrow? As I said, I'm not expecting us. Obviously, I want us to win against Spurs or whatever, but I'm not asking for a win. I'm asking for some fight, some desire, some, you know, actually take responsibility. And finally, we took some responsibility for losing. But why are we starting to lose these home games now? You know, so we'll see when we do play Spurs tomorrow, which we'll preview very soon. But yeah, this game against Brentford, you know,
shambles. Like defensively, it was a shambles from you.
Basically, I expected.
The penalty that you conceded as well. I mean, Murphy's playing basketball. he's playing basketball. Like,
yeah, and I said earlier, I don't know why they took 10,000 years to check if that's a clear penalty.
Yeah, he's playing basketball. Like,
yeah,
he should play in the NBA.
Yeah, but the referee had to check VAR. I'm like, what do you mean? It's a clear and obvious penalty. I'm like, what's the point? Why are you checking VAR? You know, like, I don't know what. Like,
it's ridiculous. And then the goal that they scored, like, I mean, where is your defense for their third goal? Where is your defense? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, but it does kind of show that, you know, we haven't been good all season. And from the 2 home games, I'm not counting Liverpool because I expected to lose. What do you call this? The Aston Villa home and Brentford at home. I expected, okay, you can lose one, but you cannot lose both. And the fact that it happened.
So you were sort of like minimum 3 points from those 2 games.
At least win one.
Minimum.
So lost to Villa, okay, win against Brentford, basically. So, but obviously it ended up being 2 losses because, you know, we don't play a home game in any competition until Karabag. In about
Karabag, you'll be. Karabag, you'll be.
Oh yeah, I do expect, but obviously we'll talk about it on Thursday's show. But
yeah,
I think because there is going to be a show of this as well on Thursday, which we'll do after our game and previewing literally only Newcastle games. But I would say, you know, for us, it's all I'm asking for in that Spurs game, which will practically preview very soon.
The City fan is just this is.
Oh yeah, but at the same time, I'm just saying this isn't a Manchester City show. I'm just saying.
No, but it's good. It's good. Every fan is welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy's pretty funny. He's like, you all forget, man. He's saying we all forgot Man City beat Fulham 19 games in a row. I'm like, we didn't forget. We either didn't know that or we weren't thinking about it.
Yeah. Like also, I'm like, if you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. Like,
well, I'll tell you something. I am rooting for you guys. Just take that title away from those bastards. You know what I mean? Like.
And also, don't blame me because I also said Man City wins the title, but I just want a title race. I'll be honest, but.
I just want Asna to just be gone. Just those bastards.
Yeah, and so overall, it's just not been that great for us in terms of the league table.
Yeah, look, it's a big problem. I think, like I said at the start of the show, I think this is your worst point since the takeover. I think.
Oh, in terms of points tally. So we'll see. We'll see how things go in terms of the rest of the season for both teams, as I guess can practically move on because I mean we might as well talk about
enough of the shit shows with both our clubs. Now the shit shows are going to meet. They're going to meet and they're going to play.
Yeah, which is Newcastle and Tottenham versus Newcastle. I would say, and we'll see.
Facts.
But yeah, Spurs Newcastle. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Obviously, it kind of brings me very good memories because the last time that picture happened in the Premier League, not only did Newcastle win, but I was there. I don't have my phone with me right now, but yeah, I was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium sitting with all the Spurs fans, not with a Newcastle scarf, even though I was wearing a Newcastle shirt all the way underneath, but it was pretty cold because it was like January.
Yeah.
But despite the cold, Newcastle United warmed up to that game, and we
It was
warmed up.
crazy because I remember we went 1-0. Solanke scored like in the first 5 minutes, and then you guys just got 2 goals quite quickly.
Yeah, and we scored literally like 2 seconds later.
You literally scored like 2 minutes later or something.
Yeah, so it was a good sort of result, I would say.
But that was when we were like done. We were like, obviously, we know how horrendous we were in the league last season. So
I mean, yeah. Now
I think we're even worse this season.
But I think for this game, obviously, talking about it, Spurs. What?
See, this City fan, just quickly, this is a comment I can 100% agree with every word he says. 100%.
But Spurs 2 wins in 16 in terms of the Premier League. Newcastle 1 win in 10 in all competitions. So it's going to be a draw.
And Spurs 2 wins in 16. Oh, I think you've frozen. Oh, man. Are you still there? I think you've frozen. Oh, no. I think we've lost. I think we've lost 10. I think we've lost him, guys. I think he's frozen. Connection gone. Yeah, I think he's frozen, guys. Please subscribe as we take a short break, I guess, while 10 reconnects. Please subscribe, guys. Please like the stream.
Am I
of course.
back?
Oh, now he's back. Now he's back. Yeah, you just froze.
Yeah, it was internet, but yeah.
So 1 win in. So what is it? 1 win in 10 for Newcastle,
in all competitions.
And all comps, and then for us in the league, it's like 2 wins in 16 in the league.
So maybe it ends up as a draw, but
every finger points to a draw for this game.
Yeah. But also there's the story of Dr. Tottenham, which almost happened against Burnley, happened against West Ham. So
that's why I'm worried.
How was it like to be Eddie Howe? Well, I mean, he received boos after the Brentford game. Not just him, but just the entire team. So, but as I said,
Mike Ashley days are back.
Oh God! Well, at least we won't get relegated, even if we lose this game.
Serious question about Newcastle. Do you think, obviously, like you guys have like not been doing great this season? Do you think Mike Ashley's like laughing at home and stuff, like watching it?
No.
Do you think he's like, see, I told them it wasn't me?
No, because he would never have won or never have brought us towards a trophy.
He would never have got you guys into. I mean, if he stayed, you probably would have been relegated that season when he left.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or if not, it would have been the season after. If not, season after.
Yeah.
So I love Saudi Arabia, Asian Champions 2027. But yeah, in terms of Eddie Howe and the overall team,
what's the team use for Newcastle for this game?
I mean,
Bruno's back, which is obviously a problem for us because if he was out, that would obviously help us.
Yeah, and even though he was back, we still lost. But the Brentford
goal
team,
and assists, so he made an impact.
Yeah, only player, well, contribution, but overall, with this game between Newcastle and Spurs, I mean, we did kind of just talk about both of our teams being shit.
Yep.
I don't know why.
I think I'll be honest. We've obviously played each other twice already this season. I think obviously you beat us in the Carabao Cup 2-0. We got a draw at your ground, Romero with an overhead kick. Although Romero is going to be suspended, so we don't have Romero to bail us out. By the way, he's suspended for 4 games now. That's another player to add. Spurs have like 11 players for this game against Newcastle. We literally have. I can't even remember who's out. It's so many players. I mean, we might not even have a back 4 to field because Spence. I don't know if Spencer's going to be back. If he's not back, probably Sousa's going to play. Which, to be fair, I thought he'd done all right when he came on again for his debut. But it's a 19-year-old kid. He's probably going to play if Spencer's back. You're going to have Gray at right back, who's going to play out of position. And you're probably going to have, without Romero, Dragusin and Van der Ven. Because obviously Danzo's injured as well. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy, this injury situation. We for as bad as Newcastle have been, at least you guys can put a team together. We can barely put a team together for this game. We literally have like 11 fit players. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. And the bench is going to be filled with kids, academy kids, basically.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of this game, I think will depend on, let's say from a Newcastle perspective, as I said, just before, I'm not asking us to win. I'm just asking for an actual performance similar to the PSG game. Not saying the first 10,
but 20 I think minutes. If you put in that the PSG game was probably one of your better games recently.
Away from home. Yeah.
If you put in that performance against us, you'll win. Because we're still not as good as PSG. So if you put in that performance, you'll win.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not asking us, just like what happened in PSG, we didn't win the game, but the performance, it showed promise, and since then we've lost every single game. So when are we going to get that sort of
Baran, we're getting really close to that. It wouldn't surprise me if after this game we are in this situation, because we lost a doggy last game. That's another injured player. We're literally getting an injury a game. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get to that, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think overall, as I said with us, just put an actual performance, because if we just perform the same as we did against any other game, I'm not going to, support, we did well for 14 minutes like we did against Liverpool and end up losing. No, there's a difference between performing well for 14 minutes against Liverpool, or let's say for this example, Spurs, and then we lose 3-1, 4-1, or whatever it is tomorrow. I'm not going to support it because, as I said, I'm fine if we lose to Spurs, but at least show some fight, desire, performance, whatever, for the whole 90 minutes. And
this is the worst Spurs team I've ever seen. So just saying. But it's not like you're playing a good Spurs team.
Oh yeah, but I do think that just to say if we end up losing, at least show an actual performance, some fight, or whatever it may be, to actually warrant at least some grace, because there's now even more and more Newcastle United, content creators that are now getting towards the edge of how out, or are saying how out, because not just for the 3 games, but just the entire season. And people were saying, there's no one better than How. There's 10 managers I can name that are better than How in one way or the other.
How's still better than Frank, I'll tell you that. Do you know, I just realized, what's really funny? We're literally arguing over who's the least shit out of our managers.
Well, at least mine has a trophy, but
I mean, with you'll say, you'll be like, How's shit, and I'll be like, yeah, but Frank's worse. It's just constantly, that's how this show has gone the last few weeks.
Yeah. But I think for this game against Spurs, I don't know what more to add in terms of just put in an actual good performance. As I said, I'm not asking us to win. I'm just asking for us to have a good performance like we did against PSG. We didn't beat PSG, but we had a good performance. Why can't we do that in more games, So we'll see how it goes against Spurs. But yeah, how you feel towards this game?
Not confident. I've seen, from what I've seen of Newcastle and doing this show, Newcastle definitely aren't looking good going into this game. You guys are playing very bad. Like the Brentford game was bad. Obviously the Villa game was pretty horrendous as well. So listen, this is not a good Newcastle team right now. Obviously you've got players like Gordon who's going to be out, I think, for this game. But Livramento, so Trippier is an area that we should be targeting to kind of get joy in this game. But the problem is we have nobody that's going to be able to we're going to have nobody that's going to be able to take advantage of the gaps, because whatever formation we play, if we play this 4-3-3, we're going to have probably Odegaard on the left, who I don't think is, at the level to kind of really take advantage of Trippier kind of not being great at the moment. Or if we play this 3-4-3, which I don't know if we will, because I don't know if we have enough players, like with the centre backs, then, you know, maybe we could do it with Xavi, but then Xavi Simons isn't that kind of player to kind of like, you know, run at people. He's more of like the creator. So the gaps when I look at Newcastle, if this was a better Spurs team, like not necessarily last season, but like even before, like the season before we beat you 4-1, if you remember. And that game, this was Andrew's first season. That game, Son was just ripping Trippier. Like, he was ripping him apart that whole... If you remember, Trippier was just getting skinned by Son that whole game. So if we had this kind of game in the state of Newcastle, it kind of reminds me of that game in 2023 when you came into it, you know, not in great form with a lot of injuries and stuff. And obviously we went and beat you 4-1 that game. But problem is we're in a far worse situation than I'm not saying we were in a great situation then, but we're in a far worse situation than then. We have barely anyone available. Like I said, for as bad as you've been, at least you can put a proper team out. We can't really do that. Our captain's missing for 4 games now. Obviously, he's the one that kind of was the reason we didn't lose at St. James's Park earlier in the season. So, look, we can't win a game. Look, I've spoken about on this show how bad we are. I don't see us winning a game right now. And I'm not for any team, no matter who it is. Like, we couldn't even beat Burnley and West Ham. How do I expect us to beat Newcastle, who are above both those teams? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, this is actually your game, your penultimate, well, the last game before the game.
The game, North London derby. Jesus, the worst time to play that fixture.
Woolwich against Tottenham, but I think obviously for this game, I mean, I don't know what to expect, but I guess
it's going to be a horror. I'll tell you this right now: it is going to be a horrible game. It's going to be an absolute stink fest.
Yeah, I mean, probably on the side. I know it will be in like 45 minutes after the start of this game. It is going to be West Ham Man United, which will be a little bit fun to watch.
Yeah, and there's a chance if we lose, there is a chance that if West Ham somehow beat Man United, the gap from relegation could be 3 points, and then the board will be shitting themselves.
I don't know what you want. Do you want the haircut or not?
I want the haircut.
You know what? Imagine West Ham last minute equalize or something.
That would be funny, but at the same time, there's only so much I can laugh because of the situation we're in. But I think this game between Eddie Howe and Frank is going to be like, it's just going to be 2 managers that just don't really know what they're doing, to be honest. Like, it's going to be 2 managers doing stupid things with substitutions and like decisions in games, tactics. It's going to just be a mess, this game. I can just see it a mile off.
Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. But I guess we can do, because there's literally no other games to preview.
Yeah, it's literally like when we did the preview for this game last time, there was more to talk about because it wasn't as shit as it is for both teams. Yeah. It was still pretty bad, but it wasn't. This is like the gutter, especially for Spurs, like the complete gutter.
Yeah. So in terms of predicted 11, I guess you can start.
Yeah, so predicted 11. Obviously we did this last time for... Oh, no, Baran. No.
That'll be glorious.
Mason's just been sacked from West Brom. In terms of predicted lineup, it literally could be anything. Frank Roulette, I mean, he chops and changes so much. Vicario will be in goal. Back 4 could be anything with the injuries. They're saying Spence might be back, but I'm going to assume he's not, just because, you know, with Spurs, they always say things when players come back and they don't come back. So... The back 4 will be Gray at right back, I imagine, because we have one fit fullback, which is Sousa, who's just come in. You're gonna have Gray at right back. You're gonna have Van der Ven and Dragusin as centre backs. Maybe Palhinha will play in the 3, depending on what formation it is. I think he probably will go back to a back 3, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I think Palhinha is the 3rd centre back, and then Sousa left wing back. Midfield, it will be Gallagher. He'll start. I think. It could either be Sarr or Bissouma. I think Bissouma might come back in. Again, literally no midfielders left either. You know, with Bentancur, you know, Maddison, of course, all being out. Palhinha playing in defence. Like, there's barely anyone left. So I think it will be probably Bissouma and Gallagher. then front three, Xavi on the left. On the right, Odebert will come back in after he was taken off. And then up front, I want to say Solanke, but I think he could put Kolo Muani in. Start Solanke on the bench just because of that injury he came back with. So, but I'll probably say Solanke. He seems as though he's got his fitness back. And Solanke, look, we need Solanke. He's the only forward that could score goals for us. So, yeah, obviously, even Richarlison, look, for as bad as he is, he did score goals. So with him being out, look, we really need Solanke. So, yeah, I think that will probably be the predicted lineup. But like I said, it wouldn't. But the bench will be non-existent. The bench will be completely non-existent. So, yeah, I think that will be the formation. But it literally could be anything. Like Frank chops and changes all the time. So, yeah, who knows? What about Newcastle?
For us, I think goalkeeper Pope, obviously, and then the back could be a back five. To be honest, back four, back five, I think based on the second half of Brentford, kind of how we lined up, I hope that's how we do. So back four of, well, unless Miley or Livermental's back, which I don't think happens. But I know there was a press conference earlier today, but I'm too lazy to find out.
I don't think Frank's done his press conference yet. So
because technically the game's tomorrow, so they should.
Yeah.
But right back, Trippier. Left back, who's left back again? Lewis Hall. And then the two centre backs. I guess you can go with Chow and Botman. And then if you need to, you bring on Dan Burn for either Hall or something like that. I don't know. But back four with Botman and Chow. And then the midfield, I would like to see it being more of Bruno. And if you want to give Tonali a rest, then sure, then do Bruno and Ramsey midfield. And then have Voldemort as your support striker with Rissa in the game. And then the wingers of Bonds on the left and Elanga on the right, I would say. Kind of similar in a way to what we did against Brentford in the second half, whereby you saw that we actually, I'm not saying obviously we didn't win the game, but we actually saw improvement when Voldemort played as a support striker. See how that goes now that the game will be 0-0. Not 2-1 down, So.
Yeah, Eddie, the thing is with Eddie Howe, he'll wait till he's losing the game to do something like that. When it's the start, he won't. He's too he's kind of like Frank. Frank will only throw caution to the wind when he has to.
Yeah,
he's so risk adverse with everything.
So we'll see if Eddie Howe actually, after calling in a way himself and the team out, our team, let's see if he actually, changes it, because this is, you could say, a decent game to try the Voldemort support striker. I forgot I think it was the Bournemouth FA Cup game where he did play Rissa and Voldemort at the start of the game. And you saw we were actually pretty decent. Obviously, the game we ended up advancing in the cup, unlike Spurs. But you saw in that game we were pretty decent, Obviously, some injuries and all that have happened since then. But, we saw glimpses of it. Didn't do it afterwards. Had it for the second half against Brentford, really. And now let's see, because technically Gordon, I would think it's not fit, so we can't actually do all three wingers. So for sure, Wessel or Voldemort starts. But try both of them. If it doesn't work, then you can take off one of Rissa or Voldemort, and you bring in someone like a Tonali or heck, even Willock, and make Bruno be a little bit more advanced or something like that. So, we still have a team that can actually, put out, and, surely the team not team news, the talk, like, let's say the pre-match or whatever talk from Eddie Howe should be, look, everyone's saying that we've been shit. Prove people like me or whoever else wrong that we are still good enough. Not to, as I said, I'm not expecting us to win, or I'm not even saying, we have to win this game. All I'm asking for is just show that you could, that you can actually perform. Show some fight desire. I'm not saying you have to win if it ends as a draw, like that. No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Spurs. Like I'm seeing, apart from maybe a couple of players, I'm not seeing fight. I'm seeing like no fight in our team, like zero.
Yeah, true. But
I feel like this manager has zero authority. At least Eddie Howe has credit in the bank, but Frank has no authority. He has no credit in the bank. He's never won anything. Like, why is he still here? Is he the biggest problem at the club? No, but he's a symptom of it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I think overall, it does feel like a bit of a shit game, but maybe,
Oh, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible.
Who knows? Maybe, I don't know from Spurs perspective, but maybe Newcastle perspective, like a kick up the ass or a finger up the ass or wherever the phrase is.
Yeah, but the thing with Spurs, we've had many like kicks up the asses this season, and nothing's happened. Nothing's changed. We've got worse. So
yeah,
if you're expecting Spurs to maybe show a reaction, it's we've said that all season, and it just doesn't happen. With Newcastle, I don't know. Maybe if Eddie Howe, because he's called out the players for the first time, maybe there will be a response. But
yeah, which I'll be honest, he did do it, obviously. So I should be expecting, as I said, not a win, but I'm expecting some fight, some desire. I don't know what who's that? The unfortunate Chelsea fan that passed away. There is no fight. There is no desire.
Oh, Angry Rant Man. Yeah, Angry Rant.
That one. Rest in peace. But that sort of thing. So we'll see. So there's literally nothing else to preview. So we might as well predict, not the 11, which we just did, the score. I'll let you go first.
I think we either lose or draw. We're not winning a game. I said this. The only game I can see ahead that we might win is Crystal Palace at home, just because they're in free fall the same way that we are.
They did
actually just win, so even they can win a game. But I don't see us beating Newcastle. I don't see us beating Arsenal. I don't see us beating Fulham, and I don't see us beating Liverpool. So that's another 4 games. That's another 4 games that we're going to fail to win, and we'll be lucky to maybe get a point or 2 points from those 4 if we're lucky. I'd like to say we draw, but I can see us losing. Like, you guys barely win away, and it's just like set up. Like, yeah, I think we lose 1-0. I think you're going to get an early goal and you're going to stink it out. Eddie Howe's going to, play 5 at the back, stink it out, and I think Frank's going to have no clue how to break it down, and our players are going to give up after we go 1-0 down, because that's what's happened this season. Whenever we go a goal down, we failed to win. That shows we've just given up. So I think with all the injuries and suspensions as well, there's nothing off the bench for us. I reckon I'm saying 1-0 Newcastle. Like, you guys are probably, I think what will happen is you will score early, and then you'll stink it out, and we'll have all the possession and do nothing with it.
Maybe, but knowing
I can't see us winning a game. I have zero faith, zero hope in anything we're doing. I see nothing to suggest that we're going to do anything other than not win in these upcoming games.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully for me. So you're going 1-0 for us, and Bowen says 2-1 for us. I think. Obviously, as I said, I'm not saying to win for us, but show some fight. So I will say, look, if what Eddie Howe says, the players need a finger up the ass. Oh, no, a kick up the ass. Not a finger up the ass. Like, they need a finger up the ass or whatever. Imagine
oh man, you made it sound really bad.
Like, imagine like the team building, team training from like after the Brentford loss up until this game. The team building exercise. All right, everyone.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Bro. Oh man.
Like I don't know who. Trippier.
No, we're not going.
No, I don't want to feel like this. If it feels really bad for you, then perform well on tomorrow.
No, we're not. See, look, Baron says minimum 4 fingers with the performances. Oh my god.
So, because actually, what do you call this? After the game as well, the Brentford game, Trippier did also say, like, you could say standards or something have dropped or whatever.
Standards are just on the floor at both our clubs right now.
Yeah. So, just because obviously we haven't won a game in the Premier League since Leeds United, so it's been a month already.
The last time we won a game was 28th of December. We haven't won a game in 2026 in the Prem.
Yeah, so maybe we could be your first, or you could be our first in a month in the Prem. So in terms of prediction, I'm going to stick my finger.
Oh my god!
And say it would be I think it would be a draw. I'll go 1-1. I would say
1-1. Yeah, I can see it. I said I think we draw or lose.
Yeah, so I'll go 1-1, but just show some fight. That's why I would be asking. Just show a bit of fight, heading into or at this game, I would say.
Also tomorrow, obviously we'll talk about it later on the show, but Palermo play Sampdoria tomorrow, so that's at 6. So I'll definitely be watching that game.
Oh yeah, so it's actually earlier, I believe.
Yeah, but I'm definitely there's Palermo giving me way more joy. So
yeah,
but yeah, we'll talk about that later.
No, I guess 0-0. It could be 0-0.
Yeah, Baron Napoli v Como. Yeah, that's.
I'll say Napoli though. But,
I'm saying a draw.
Yeah, so I guess can wrap up the show for this one for today. But yeah, obviously talking about Newcastle and Spurs, year of the bird after the Seahawks won, and there is going to be a show later tonight in 7 hours. Exactly 7 hours from now, there will be a show. Yeah. What is your score for our game against Brentford? 2 at Emirates.
Is it facts?
Yeah.
Both are looking like they might get promoted. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that later tonight.
Yeah, later. In literally exactly 7 hours from now. So obviously talking about that later on the show. But yeah, obviously talking about Newcastle and Spurs now, or just ended.
Like I said, extra show this week because we're playing each other. So
yeah, not fingering each other, but like playing each other. But I still think 2-0 Arsenal. But
yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to give a prediction.
But yeah, obviously Charlie, shout yourself out.
Yeah, big up to the chat. It's a shit show. It's definitely not the year of the bird this year. It's anything but, sadly. But yeah, big up guys, big up the chat, like the stream. Please subscribe to both channels as it's being broadcasted across both. And yeah, like I said, we'll be back later at 8 p.m. UK time. So come and join us for that show. And yeah, big up guys. Big up guys every single time.
We'll see about this. But yeah. Obviously good show. Obviously, as I said, subscribe to both channels right here. Obviously, show in about 7 hours, more or less from now. Not 6, but 7 hours from now, you could say. But at least by the end of it, by the end of the season, it could be a really nice 6-7 for both Deportivo and Palermo, which we'll talk about in 7 hours. So yeah, like the stream, subscribe to both channels, and we'll see you guys in 7 hours.
Oh my god.